So since you're working with them this week, let's talk about circular linked lists, in particular, circular doubly linked lists. So there will be no code in this video. We're going to try to draw some pictures that give us a sense of what we'll want the code to look like. So let's start by thinking about the empty list, what we'll sort of initialize the list to, what the constructor will do. So the empty list is just null, right? There's nothing in it. And that's how we initialize it, what the constructor does. And then our field current should be null. Current tells us there's nothing in the list. Okay, so let's say now we consider a list with one element, because this gets a little weird here. So we have one element. I'm just going to name our elements after letters here so we have something to call them. So let's call this one Z. Right, and then it has a next field and a prev that should both point somewhere. So next points back to Z. And prev sort of also points to Z because there's nothing else in the list. And finally, current is also Z. So Z is its own next, Z is its own prev, and the current of the list is also Z. Right, so just as a reminder, the list has a field current, and the node has fields prev and next. So they sort of belong to different pieces. But all of these fields are other nodes. Okay, so now let's say we have a longer list. Now I have a bunch of nodes here. So let's say this is X, Y, Z. Right, and X is next points to Y, and Y's prev points to X. Y's next points to Z, and Z's prev points to Y. And then Z's next comes around to point to X, and X's prev comes around to point to Z, because this is a circle. And where current is depends on sort of how we added this in the list. So current could be at sort of any of those. So let's say that current was still at Z. One of the things we want to be able to do in our list is move current, right? So maybe we have a method called goNext. What would goNext do? It would move current forward. So if we were to use it, current would go from Z all the way around to X. Let's say we wanted to add add something. And let's say that where we insert something is before wherever our current is. So we want to add something before x. So what should we do? We want to make a new node. I'll put it down here and name it W in keeping with our theme. Right, and we've said I'm going to use different colors for this so we can see what's going on. W's next should be x, because we want to add it in before x, and its prev should be z. So then we need to change these connections between x and z, right? X's prev shouldn't be z anymore, and z's next shouldn't be x anymore. Right, now z for its next should point to w, and x's prev should also point to w. Right, so now our list sort of in order, starting at x would go x, and then y, and then z, and then down to w, right? And then from w we come back to x. So that's a basic picture of a circular doubly linked list.